Hey nerds, before we start the show, one item of housekeeping. We actually are looking for some help for the show. There is a survey in the show notes that you can go ahead and link to. It is 10 questions, takes about 2 minutes, just asking how the show is going, just how we can make things better for you. If you enter your email, you are also entered for a sweepstakes to win some That Kind of Nerd swag for free. So again, go to the show notes and go ahead and take that quick survey, or go to survey.thatkindofnerd.com. Again, that's survey.thatkindofnerd.com. Or just check the show notes. Thank you so much for making the show better. And now, on with the show. Welcome, everyone, to the That Kind of Nerds podcast, a weekly show that tells you what is going on in the nerdy world. I am CJ Millen, joined by Josh Burns and Brian Thornton.
What up?
Welcome.
If this is your first time here on the show, I highly advise you go to intro.thatkindofnerd.com. You can actually learn a little bit about the show, or as Brian likes to say every week, just jump into it. Just see what happens. Just go with the flow. Let it happen. But I regret nothing by just telling you to do that.
I said it once. I don't say it.
Well, you said it last week, too.
I regret nothing. You have no regrets.
No regrets. Thor regrets. Let's just jump into it this week. My favorite hobby is to go around the internet, find the weird, find the obscure, and then ask these two gentlemen for a tech perspective. And then I want to start off this week with
Boop, 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 boop.
Oh, sad Brian. Listen, we're going to start off this week with gaming news. It's not something that we talk about very often, but geez, a couple things came out this week that I just had to talk about. The first I want to...
All Pokemon related?
Excuse me?
All Pokemon related?
There's two Pokemon related things, which is really one Pokemon related thing. Then Lego and Fallout. So I think it's a pretty good mix. So let's start with Pokemon. Nintendo announced the first real Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch. Is that accurate?
Am I the Switch expert all of a sudden? Because I own one.
You're the only one who has one. Right, yeah. So you're the expert.
Okay. Yeah, it's the first game. Yes. All right,
so it's called
game for Pokemon.
So it's called Pokemon Let's Go, then there's the Pikachu edition, and then there's the Eevee edition. As with every Pokemon game, there's usually one version than another, so you don't get all the Pokemon.
It's pretty much a remake of Pokemon Yellow, from what I understand.
And I mean, that's kind of what it reminds me of. So you have a Pokemon that's out of its Pokeball following you, but it also mixes a lot of Pokemon Go dynamics into it as well, which I thought was extremely interesting. So when you go to catch a Pokemon, you have the Joy-Con in your hand, you play with one Joy-Con, and you kind of have to aim the ball and kind of get that set up like you do with Pokemon Go. So I mean, I thought that was interesting. It's not a dynamic that you normally see within a Pokemon game.
Well, and you can also now, like, they're going to be selling, like, little tiny Pokeballs that you can sync to it, and you can throw.
So there's going to be an accessory called the Pokeball Plus, which really is just a small Pokeball.
Little tiny Pokeball. I could be a real Pokemon master.
I've seen a lot of videos of this.
Maybe I'll get you Charmander. Who knows?
I've seen a lot of video. Why is Mario catching Pokemon?
Who says I'm Mario?
You say his name right. Here's the thing.
Say Mario, calm down.
I have seen like 2 videos of this Pokeball Plus. I still don't know how it works. Can someone please explain it to me?
You know how the Joy-Con works?
Yeah.
Just like that.
Well, pretend I don't.
You know how a Wii remote works?
With like the motion sensiting and then the buttons.
Yeah, indeed.
So what's the button on the Pokeball? Is it the middle of the Pokeball?
Yeah, but that's just joystick. This is supposed to be a controller. It's not.
Oh, so it's to control the Pokemon. It's replacing the Joy-Con of the Nintendo Switch.
From what I understand, yes.
Okay, I thought it was just for catching Pokemon. You had the little Pokeball.
Oh no, that would be ludicrous.
But
this way, when I want to catch Pokemon while at my rooftop party, I could set up the stand on the table, and I can move with my Pokeball, and I can do a little flicky motion, just a little flick.
You know, it's funny. It's funny you bring up the millennial rooftop parties when people play Switches together, which is a total occurrence that really happens.
I've been invited to 6 so far this month.
You can actually now play with another player in this Pokemon game.
Oh, you mean what I can never do with Pokemon Go?
Right. Like you can never do a Pokemon Go. Yep.
It's exciting.
Trading and battling. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's the first thing I thought of too, Brian, was this is actually delivering what Pokemon Go was supposed to be. But there's no augmented reality with this game, correct?
Not that I know of, which I'm okay with.
I don't think
I turned off the AR on my Pokemon Go after a week anyway.
As did I. So yeah, this looks like the game that Pokemon Go was supposed to be.
After about the 17th Rattata showing up on my couch, it got old. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just not like, I don't think they did as much as they could have done. So much of the interface is basically just the app. And then, they created this game around it where you're exploring and battling, and that stuff is important. But the catching of the Pokemon is exactly like the app. It just, they could have done better.
With this new game? Really?
Yeah. With the new game, yeah.
Yeah, well, they want all the Pokemon Go app downloaders to go buy a Nintendo Switch so they can pay Pokemon Let's Go.
No, I'm not saying that's not what they want. I'm saying that's not going to happen.
I didn't say that's what was going to happen. I mean, I think some.
How many people you think use this as an excuse to buy a Switch? Really?
How many people do you think spent at least $300 on Pokemon Go?
How much money?
About $300 on Pokemon Go.
What?
A decent percentage.
3%, 5% of the users?
Sure, out of the millions of users that downloaded that game.
Okay, so do you think this?
So if half of them go out and buy a Switch,
you think this sells 10,000 Switches?
Yes,
I think it sells 10,000 Switches. Yeah, Pokemon is a huge game, and the other thing you need to remember is that this is the first time Pokemon is actually being released in any form on what is technically a console. Not just a DS or a Game Boy.
Yeah, and it reminds me of when Pokemon first came out with Blue and Red. That was the only reason I bought a Game Boy at first. And then I played other Game Boy games, but it made me buy hardware. And that's what it's been doing for the DS and for all the other handhelds. It's about time that it pulls its weight when it comes to the actual main console. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of sales of the Switch for Pokemon. And Switch sales have already been doing well. So I think this is just icing on top of it for Nintendo. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to buy a Switch just to play this, especially with the multiplayer aspect of it. Without having to buy a second controller, you could get more. Well, I guess you need a second controller, but without paying a ton of money,
you don't need a second controller. The Joy-Cons turn sideways.
Okay, so the other Joy-Con could the left and the right. Okay, cool. Yeah. No need.
Yeah,
2 players.
Automatically 2 players, just by buying a Switch console and the game.
Now, this next one I'm very excited about. Bethesda announced a new Fallout game, Fallout 76. They did a teaser for it. Not a lot of details out, but some of the reports out there have been pretty exciting.
I don't understand this.
Is it the 76th iteration?
That's the thing. They go Fallout 1, 2, 3, New Vegas, 4, 76. I don't know where numbers 5 through 75 went.
Well, I mean, it sounds like this is... it sounds like the character is 76.
No, so this is based off of a vault that has been mentioned many times within the Fallout lore, and that is Fallout Vault 76. I don't know why they didn't just put the whole title in there. But this was the group of people that were supposed to go out before everybody else. So they were supposed to start with cleaning up some of the monsters. They were supposed to start rebuilding society. So when all the other survivors are ready to come out of their experiments, they can come out of the world. But everything went wrong here.
I don't know. I don't know what Fallout is. I don't know a single thing about it. But I watched this teaser, this whatever minute 33 teaser. It looks awesome. Like it looks amazing. I'm not going to play it ever.
So what I like about Fallout and a lot of Bethesda's games are that they are single player games. They had an online player game.
Will I get lost?
Well, here's the problem, Josh. This is going to be a online multiplayer survival RPG.
Nope.
Yep. I was so on board until I read that. I am not good at those games. Number one, I'm just not good at them. Number two, they're never my cup. I never enjoy a big session of that, of playing against,
because they're always some 10-year-old screaming obscenities at you,
or the guy who he has no real job or other hobby, so his 4-hour shift ends that week, and then he just plays this the rest of the time. And he's camping out, and he knows where everything is.
Like the guys who are controlling the replicants in Gamer, like those guys.
The neckbeards of the internet are the ones that are there.
Avatars, not replicants. Sorry, avatars.
That's okay. So I was really on board. I was ready for it. Then I heard it could be an online survival RPG. I'm out. I won't say hard pass, only because I don't know, Bethesda. I like them, so maybe they'll surprise me. But this is not a game I'm going to pay $60 for right off the bat. I'll wait for maybe a Black Friday deal or something and then pick it up after everyone else has had it. Brian, are you a big Fallout fan? Did you play the Fallouts?
Played Fallout 3. I don't have time to play these games anymore. They're literally 600 hours.
They do. They take up a lot of hours. I
don't have time.
All right. Well, a game that you may have time for, Lego Batman, is rumored to come out, but this one is going to be focusing on the DC supervillains. So it's Lego DC supervillains.
Yes, immediately yes.
Right? I'm actually pretty stoked about this. The Lego games have always been very creative, very easy to pick up and play, and you don't need a whole lot of tutorials how to do things, and they're always fun and hilarious. Great for all ages. I'm all down for this. Josh, why are you just 100% immediately on board?
Because Christian and Zoe love these games. They love them, and every so often I just either lay in bed with them when they're playing in my room, or like sit on the sofa with them while they're. I'm not playing, but they're funny and they're cool and they're not offensive in any way. So like these are actually really good games for kids, unlike Fortnite.
Does your son play Fortnite?
Oh, he's not allowed to play Fortnite because it's people just screaming curse words all the time.
Well, don't let him go into the chat.
That's the whole. They all do it.
It's dumb. It's a battle royale game. You have to talk to each other. Otherwise,
you fucking don't.
Yes, you do.
Not if you're just playing by yourself, or if you're playing with your friends. You go into the chat, a private chat with your friends.
No, I don't want him in there with his friends.
No, you don't go into the main chat. You go into a private chat on the system with your friends.
No privacy. No Fortnite.
Brian, what do you feel about the DC villain Lego game?
I don't know. Who am I going to play as? Joker?
You can play as the Joker. You can play as other people. I don't have the article up in front of me anymore.
I'm confused because I'm used to beating up villains. I don't know if I want to root for them.
I mean, Deathstroke, Deadshot. Wouldn't you want to explore some of those? King Shark would be awesome to play as.
Think about Lego Batman. The villains had there was a different take on the villains in there, right? They weren't necessarily just all terrible evil people. At one point, they all banded together to save the Lego city. So I imagine it's going to be that kind of twist of we're bad, but right now there's something so bad that we are going to be good guys just to fix that thing. But after this is done, we're going to be bad again. I mean, it's going to be that kind of thing.
When's it come out?
Coming out October 16th.
I'll be playing my third or fourth playthrough Spider-Man, so no, I probably won't play this.
Is there a new Spider-Man game coming out?
Yeah, new Spider-Man game comes out September 7th. I'll be playing that.
That is exclusively for the PlayStation 4, Josh. It's been a couple of years in development.
I own a PlayStation 4. I bought one for $100.
Right. But I'm just saying it's one that they've been working exclusively on for many years, and they're finally releasing it. So that's a highly anticipated game.
Am I going to get lost in that game?
No, I don't think so.
If you get lost in a Spider-Man game, other things have gone wrong in your life.
Will you get lost in New York?
Does it lead you through the game? I need something leading me through.
No, it's probably an open world game with a little compass telling you to head east, and that's it.
Yeah, if there's an arrow telling me where to go.
Yeah. You have a little compass on the screen.
Think very, very old Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, okay. Or Crazy Taxi, kind of little arrow just pointing you.
Just telling me where to go.
Yeah. I'm sure
that's all I need. That's all I need.
All right, so let's take a look at the world of movies and TV in a segment that we call Screen to Screen, and we're starting with some follow-up right off the bat. Last week, we talked about Happy Time Murders, which was the R-rated Brian Henson Muppet movie with all Sesame and no Street. So the reason that they're following up is, they're getting sued. Well, they got sued by Sesame Street, especially for the tagline, all Sesame, no Street. They alleged, hey, people are probably going to get confused because they're kind of like these Muppet characters, and you're saying Sesame Street, and they're being R-rated. This is terrible. And then, in truest fashion, the team behind Happy Time Murders gave a wonderful response via a puppet lawyer. This case went to court and was just immediately struck down. Before I even put in the show notes, oh, hey, Happy Time Murder is going to court. We already had the resolution that it was already over and that they're allowed to say all Sesame, no Street. So good on them for making this happen. I was really surprised that it was just in and out that quickly. I don't think anyone's getting confused about the Sesame Street aspect of this, that this is a completely R-rated movie. And it's
if you're a parent who watches that trailer and then says, I'm going to take my child to this because it says the word Sesame and Street, You have bigger problems.
Like you're an idiot who just wants a free jungle gym.
Yeah.
Or even if you just hear the title of the movie and you hear Happy Time Murders and see puppets, like, obviously that's for kids. The hell's the murders is in the title.
That can't necessarily, because you can't have slaughter without laughter.
There's no slaughter. It's murders. It's
Same
not slaughter.
thing.
It's not Happy Time Slaughter. It's Happy Time Murders.
Well, you
Same
can't
thing.
have manslaughter without laughter. So just know it's all part of it, CJ.
I would just like the record to reflect that I would love to be represented by Fred Esquire, the Muppet lawyer. For any legal troubles, I highly recommend you search out Fred Esquire. I think he's a man of integrity. You know what? Never blinks. He's always got his eyes on, the prize. Never takes them off.
I'm lost. I'm completely lost.
He's a Muppet, so he can't blink his eyes.
Muppets.
I've seen Muppets blink.
Muppets don't blink?
But look at this Muppet. He's not a blinking Muppet.
Do Muppets
Some Muppets blink. Not all of them. Like Big-Bird.
Doesn't
like,
Big Bird
blinks.
So does Snuffleupagus.
Elmo, no blinking.
Okay. All right.
I can't think of any other Muppets. The Muppet that was in the Muppet movie by Jason
Miss
Segel.
Piggy
no
blinks
blinking.
for sure.
Miss Piggy blinks. Yes,
Fozzie
'cause she's got
blinks. Gonzo blinks.
Fozzie blinks?
Fozzie has he has eyelids.
Oh, I thought you found a Google article that shows all the Muppets that
I'm
blink.
just oh my god, you found like a wiki about what Muppets blink?
You know.
Why hasn't the internet made that?
So
Someone studied
there is a Muppet Wiki for Muppet Eyes. I'm going to send you the link now.
Can you search it for blinking?
I don't know. Hold on. Just give me a second. I'm going to put it in the show notes. And there it is. And I think it stands to reason that if they have eyelids, they blink. Does that sound fair? Okay, hold on. Mana and Floyd Pepper have had blinking eyes. Big Bird Animal, Snuffleupagus, Monkey Fraggle, Hoots the Owl, Telly Monster.
Cookie Monster does not blink.
Cookie Monster's eyes sit precariously on top of his fucking head. Like they're gonna roll off at any moment. His eyes go fucking batshit crazy all the time, though.
I think it's safe to say that Muppets blink and your joke was not founded in fact.
Yeah, this Muppet does not blink because he has no eyelashes.
There's a whole section about lashes, lids,
crazy.
and brows.
I'm not gonna lie. Oh my god, the internet. This whole wiki is all just about the eyes.
Just about the eyes.
Fascinating. I highly recommend you go read this.
Check out our show notes. It's actually pretty good stuff.
It's definitely something that you would have never thought of, and now it's all I want to know about. I'm going to walk into work on Monday and be like, guys, I learned about Muppet Eyes. I want to talk for like 10 minutes if we can about Muppet Eyes. Do you have time for the good word of Muppet Eyes?
I named a bunch of Muppets that blink. So
You did a pretty good job. I'm sorry then. My joke missed the mark because apparently Muppets blink, and I was not aware that there was such a large catalog of Muppet blinking. Brian, I am curious on something because I have been suggesting that people watch the Netflix original series, The Rain, and if memory serves me correctly, I think you started to watch that series.
Who told you that?
I think you did.
You did.
I did not.
Last
Who
week.
do you have spying on me? Do you have some sort of Muppet eyes set up in my room?
I did. I left some Muppet eyes in there, and they see all. Like the
fair.
Mr. Potato Head thing, they're not connected. They see. Please tell me about The Rain. I'm just curious how far you've got into it, if you found it enjoyable.
I think I'm 5 or 6 episodes into it.
Yeah.
I want to say 6. Once you get past the terrible dubbing, it's good. It's like The Mist. It's like The Mist, but with water.
And it has a little bit of Walking Dead storyline to it at some point. I don't want to spoil anything. Not
It's
zombies.
like The Mist
no zombies.
in 10 years.
Right, like the season
But with water.
The season where they're all separated and like trying to find each other. Like that.
I
like
don't
that
watch
kind of
Walking
deal.
Dead.
All right, that's fine. Also, I know that Nate from Lancaster, he started watching it as well, based on the recommendation. He's really enjoying it. So I really do. I suggest, just like Brian says, you're gonna have to get past the dubbing. It takes you probably the first episode to do that. And I mean, you watch with subtitles too, but it kind of gets a little weird at that point. However, The Rain has been renewed for season 2 on Netflix. So the show is warranted enough for Netflix to plump down some more money on it and develop a second season. And I'm pretty darn excited for it.
I'll be excited once I figure out how this season ends. I have questions. That one chick is batshit crazy.
Oh, okay. So, Brian, once you are done the show, I'm very curious for you to come back, give us your feedback, and tell us if it gets your recommendation, if it's something that you'll recommend to others.
I will tell you what I did watch this week. I finally watched Happy Death Day.
Oh, yeah. How was that? Now, let's talk about that. How did you like it?
No, I really enjoyed it. It was really good. Well done, interesting, and funny at moments. And, yeah. Didn't see the ending coming, so it was interesting.
Right. I enjoyed that. You couldn't really call that movie. You had to just let it happen.
I'm just really confused that how does the main character not get arrested at the end of that movie?
I don't know.
Like
that's isn't that how it always works out?
I turn to my girlfriend and I'm like, that's the one thing I don't buy in this whole thing. And the other thing that did bug me is that the repetition of the day was never like there's no explanation behind it.
Well, there wasn't any in Groundhog Day.
I guess I'm okay. Okay, I believe that this is happening and you don't need to explain it to me. But seriously, she fucking chandelier kicks a bitch out the window and the cops don't want to talk to her at all. I'm a little confused by that.
Listen, if you can accept the fact that the day repeats over and over again, you can let that go. Bye.
Shoddy policemanship? Sure.
So it happens. All right, I want to talk about one more piece of movie news that got me super excited, and I mean, it's really nothing. Like, seriously, there's nothing except that Tom Cruise tweeted out a picture of him in his Maverick costume saying, "Feel the need," with hashtag day one as the caption. We now know that Top Gun Maverick has officially started. I'm so excited for this movie. We know no one else that's in it besides Tom Cruise. We have no release date. We have no footage. All we have is just Tom Cruise in his costume. I'm super excited. And this brings up the hypocrisy that is me, that I'm okay with this sequel, even though it's been way too long in between the first one and the second one.
I think it's been 3 times longer than any other sequel that you've had a problem with.
Top Gun is a movie that means a whole lot to me. It was actually one of those movies that I watched a lot when I was a teenager, over and over and over again. So it's definitely something I enjoyed. I love the soundtrack, like the Top Gun theme with the electric guitars. My real question is, will Kenny Loggins be performing any song for the sequel? He has not confirmed nor denied that he is working on something like Danger Zone.
Who knows? But did I tell you I went to the bar that was in Top Gun in San Diego?
No.
Yeah, I went to the bar that was in Top Gun in San Diego. Now you're jealous.
I am.
Where he picked up Kelly McGillis?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's like right down the street from the convention center there.
God damn it, Brian.
Sorry.
By the way,
had you told me this sooner, we would have been so much closer this whole time.
But Brian, I actually met Kelly McGinnis, so
did I. She lives in fucking Moton.
She lives in our area.
Everybody's seen her at a restaurant and been like, "Hey, Kelly McGillis. Hey, Kelly McGillis."
She's like, "I'm out here with my wife and kids. Can you just leave us alone?" They were at Target. I was working at Target.
Surprisingly, what I have heard is that you would be shocked how many people just break out into song.
I can imagine. Absolutely. I was actually really shocked that entire bar of Navy men knew that song. No problem. No rehearsal. They knew the choreography.
Yeah, of course they did.
What, did you know that song before the movie?
When you spend all day together on a boat, you have no other time but
that's what they do when they're not out on maneuvers. They practice. Yeah, they rehearse. Yeah.
I feel the need for Tom Cruise to be doing a better movie.
I would like the record to reflect that one Laura Burns called me out on the Facebook post for this my hypocrisy of rules are only convenient to CJ when they don't matter to him.
Yeah,
and you're absolutely right. See the episode #SorryNotSorry for further evidence. Sorry, Paul.
I would rather he be working on the Edge of Tomorrow sequel than this.
Yes, give me that too. I'm okay with that.
Okay, but I'm saying I want that to replace this.
No. See, I want my Top Gun. I want my Top Gun 2. I don't care if it's a huge dumpster fire. I want my Top Gun 2.
Wait, no, it's not going to be a dumpster fire. It's got Tom Cruise in it.
I know.
It's very likely it could be a dumpster fire.
We've talked about Tom Cruise has this thing, right, where Tom Cruise is always good in a movie, but some of his movies are bad. See The Mummy. Tom Cruise probably good.
I completely forgot about that. That was pretty recent. I was gonna challenge that assumption and say name something recent. But
Mummy.
Can you go really? Can you go further than that?
Vanilla Sky.
That's not recent. Not
awful.
recent.
Oh, you're talking like super recent?
I'm thinking like 5 to 10 years, can you name, like, how many movies has he done in the last 10 years? A shit ton.
American Made. That movie had a lot of problems, but he was really good.
It was fine. The movie was fine.
Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. The second Jack Reacher movie.
Jack Reacher was good.
Jack Reacher. The second one was...
The first one was great. The second one was bad.
I will give you, even though I kind of like it, but I doubt anybody else does. I've never seen Oblivion.
Okay.
I'll give you Rock of Ages, 2012.
Oh, that was when he was Stacey Jackson. That was he sang and he could not sing.
Night and Day was awesome. Night and Day was fantastic. All the Mission Impossibles were fantastic. Valkyrie wasn't bad.
I liked Valkyrie.
Tropic Thunder
he was amazing.
Awesome.
War of the Worlds, bad movie, good Tom Cruise.
12. That's 13 years ago.
Okay, so listen, the man does good things, but when his movies are bad, he is always good.
Dude, you named like everything. There was 2 movies in the last 13 years that we were like, no.
This was your theory. This wasn't my theory. This was your theory.
I've just proven it.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. This is my thesis statement.
None of that means that this Top Gun movie is going to be good.
I'm saying it's not going to be bad.
Because over the last 13 years, we couldn't find a bad movie that Tom Cruise was in.
2.
But it's
two that you guys said were bad.
It's going to be a movie.
How dare you, sir?
Oh, it's going to be a total movie, but there will be points where you are excited by it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to look at the world of comics to see how it's affecting TV, how it's affecting movies, but most of all, how it's affecting Brian this week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Cape Talk.
Cape Talk.
So, we got some news from Todd McFarlane. We officially have our Spawn. Jamie Foxx was cast, which we talked about a few weeks ago that was probably going to happen. But now it's official that we have Spawn. And he said that, Todd McFarlane, I should say, said that Spawn is going to be more of a supernatural thriller and not a straight horror movie.
Can this MFer make up his goddamn mind?
No.
This is the problem I have with Todd McFarlane being in charge of this movie, because forever, every freaking interview he said is like, oh, it's going to be a horror movie. It's not going to be a superhero movie. It's going to be a horror movie. Now, all of a sudden, it's going to be a supernatural thriller, which is a superhero movie with horror elements.
So what Todd McFarlane said was, I hesitate to use the word horror. I'm very specific about not using that word too much because it has broad definition to a lot of people.
I call bullshit on that. He used it 16 times in the past 3 months.
Horror to my wife or to a lot of people, it means, oh, you're going to slaughter some co-eds in some bloodbath or something. I consider dialing back to say it's a supernatural thriller. So then it's not going to be a gore fest.
No, that's a slasher movie, not a horror movie.
Right.
Although horror slasher is a subsection of horror. Todd, I don't trust you making movies. Continue making comic books. I don't trust you behind the camera. Sorry.
He's really selling that that when we see a trailer, when we actually see footage from this movie, that's going to be you know what, I do trust Todd McFarlane. He's saying that all the confidence from fans and naysayers is going to be silenced when we see a trailer. Which, listen, but that's a philosophy you have for a lot of things. I don't care. I'll wait till I see a trailer.
You know why I don't believe that? Because I know I'm just going to get a trailer that's just like the first Venom trailer, which is just going to be Jamie Foxx being all Jamie Foxx-ish and foxing up all over the place and no
Foxing
Spawn. Up?
That's the best verb I've heard this week, by the way.
Mr. Fox is very amicable, but he's got to have his beautiful face shown on screen, and that's all that trailer's going to be. Is Jamie Foxx?
You're right, because
you
have to scar his character up, right? He's been to hell.
Yeah, technically, but who knows? They could change anything. Maybe he just got scarred from the neck down. Maybe the devil liked his face so much they said, you know what, Jamie, you keep that.
Is it too much to ask for John Leguizamo to come back as the Violator?
No, it's not, because he was great as the Violator.
He was a great Violator. That's a weird thing to say. He was great as the Violator.
He was great as the character, the Violator.
Yes, that's much better. That's more eloquent.
Where he did no violating, as CJ has implied.
Yes, correct.
No, it's not too much to ask, but I'm just saying, I won't get this movie for another 2 years. I'll get a trailer next Halloween, and it'll be Jamie Foxx, and no Spawn.
Are you reading this? Have you read this article?
No, I have not.
This is weird. So for right now, I know there's a lot of head scratching that people are going to go, I don't quite get how your movie is going to work. I do, he added. And again, I'm not going to say it's good. I may be on a suicide trip right now.
Really bringing a whole lot of confidence in the project there, Todd.
Being stubborn to a movie that no one wants to watch, who knows? But like I said, if it does work, we're going to get some success. And by keeping the budget where we're at, then I don't need it to be a giant success to a place that we can come quickly and say, hey, we're going to be making a sequel. What the hell is going on with this guy?
Have you ever listened to an interview with this band that's always like this?
No.
It's like he's got this stream of consciousness way of thinking that
do you know what needs to happen? Benedict Cumberbatch needs to sit next to this guy, so when he starts like, no, I'll answer that. Just we need to do the Benedict slappy back that we normally do for Tom Holland for Todd McFarlane.
He is a character, let me tell you, and I trust him implicitly with comic books and art and creating that. I do not trust him to direct a movie. I think it's great that he was able to get it a production studio, but I think they need to hire another director.
Josh, do you have any feelings about Todd McFarlane apparently just being schizophrenic and making all these weird comments? You have to read this interview, by the way, in the show notes.
I love Spawn.
I like Jamie Foxx.
But give me the Spawn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for a segment where that kind of nerd gives a topic, a product, whatever, the third degree, in a segment that we call the Nerd Degree. And this is another fantastic Indiegogo classic. I love to take a peek at some Indiegogo things and say, that's probably not really going to happen, but I like your concept. This week we're looking at the Strap Swap, which is it converts any watch into a smartwatch. On the one side of the actual strap is a tiny screen that you can kind of scroll through to see your calories, your smart notifications. You can kind of this is kind of interesting. Kind of turns a traditional watch into a shitty band that happens to have a screen on it.
At first glance, it is it's a calculator watch. It's tiny buttons that you can't hit, things that you can't read. Nope. And by the way, these dudes are wearing some fancy ass watches.
Oh, you would never wear this on a fancy watch, right?
Not ever.
Ever.
You would actually have to have a Casio calculator watch.
Here's the ironic part. There's an image of them showing it on the Apple Watch.
You're right. Like I'm ever going to put that on my Apple Watch.
I looked up redundant in the dictionary and it said, please see redundant. Can anyone explain this to me at all? But I'm thinking of this for people who have really shitty like Timex watches or something like that. They're like, I wish I had a smartwatch. And if this wasn't a ton of money, I like the idea behind this. I think this is bad, but I like the idea.
Define a ton of money.
If it is more than $130, you've gone too far.
Do you know how much it is?
59 euros. How much is that?
$68.83.
Well, that is definitely going to affect how I rate this.
What's going to affect how you rate it is the video, which clearly shows you'll never see this product. But I think as a concept, here's the thing. The Apple Watch.
Why is this necessary?
It's not even a good concept, dude.
Look, if you're not, if you're not willing to commit the $300 to whatever Android Samsung thing has, or $400 or more to an Apple Watch, you can get, what was that stupid thing you had forever, CJ?
The Pebble is dead.
Yeah. No, but there's other things like Pebble. You can get one of those dumb things. But for the same price, come on, you're not serious.
I'm curious with this though. Do you think that Apple could ever make a band that has smart technology in it that you would wear on a not super fancy watch, but a mediocre watch?
Why would you need it?
I'm just asking. Do you think it's something that people would buy?
No. Look, in terms of the nerd degree, this is walking into a truck stop bathroom, having to pee really bad, not getting out in time, and striping yourself.
Oof. Okay. In terms of a truck stop bathroom, this is walking in and the floor is a little bit wet. You have an untied shoelace, which you will now have to burn. But but the rest of the bathroom was clean and you were able to go to the bathroom. So you're relieved, but you did burn a shoelace. You do have to sacrifice that. I'm a little more optimistic. I think this is an interesting concept.
What truck stop bathrooms are you guys going to?
Have you never been to it? Yeah. Brian hasn't lived very much.
Wow. Well, you're a dick.
All right, Brian, in terms of a truck stop bathroom, which, by the way, that is what we do every single week when we do the Nerd Degree. This is the standard metric of rating things. Never changes.
This is going into the truck stop bathroom. Everything that Josh said, but then still deciding to eat the egg salad sandwich in the vending machine.
So you not only stripe your khakis, but then you make the wise decision to eat the half-refrigerated, totally salmonella saturated egg salad.
Indeed, that's what this is.
Some bad things happen to good people. All right.
So at this point, we're going to talk about Solo. We're going to do some spoilers. We're going to review it a bit. So the main show is over. If you haven't seen Solo, shame on you. And then come back and listen to this piece because there's cool stinger after.
All right, so spoiler warning, I do actually want to start off with this before we get our first impressions. I went on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and asked you guys for your impressions, and Justin LeBlanc left us a message, so I want to play Justin's message about what he thought about Solo.
Hey, this is Justin LeBlanc from Tafton, PA. I saw the Solo movie, and I loved it. The biggest fear I had was that they would change Han Solo's start story that we are so used to. Like, back before Disney bought the rights, we all know that Han Solo was actually in part of the Imperial Army or Imperial Navy, and he did free Chewbacca from enslavement. So, right there in the beginning scenes when they first introduced Chewie, I'm like, oh my god, they stuck to the roots. A little different, can't lie, but that's when I knew I would love this movie. That moment. And I did. Bye.
So Justin enjoyed the movie, and I want to say thank you, Justin, for leaving a message. If you want to talk to us about anything on our show, or if you have any thoughts or feelings, you can always call us at 484-373-4119, and you can leave a message that we will play on the air. So thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. Now, I want to get your first impressions as you left the theater. And kind of what you thought about it, starting with Brian. Or do we want to start with Josh?
You don't want to start with
Let's start with Josh.
I thought it was a good movie. Like, it was a really good action flick. It was not necessarily a Star Wars story, which I was fine with because he becomes a Star Wars character, as is Lando. I thought that Donald Glover was fantastic. I thought that the humor was solid. The action was good. I had no issues with it as an action flick. I don't think Han was this altruistic at this age, so I don't think it was necessarily true to the character. So I'm going to keep going back to, I thought it was a really good movie, really good action movie, not a really good Star Wars movie, and not necessarily true to the characters. And I think they may have screwed up something in the Han Lando relationship too, but I'm not sure. So those are my initial impressions. I really liked it. Love that there was this connection with Chewbacca instantly. Do I know that was how it happened? No, I don't know. I don't know any of that shit. I don't care about the Daenerys Targaryen story at all.
Yep.
Not at all. I don't care about Jarvis at all. I just want the Han and Chewie story, and I feel like we got a good bit of that. I want the Lando story, and I feel like they screwed it up a little. It was a really good action flick. It was a decent movie. It was not a Star Wars movie. That is the end.
I felt that way too. Again, it was a decent movie, but just like you said, Josh, didn't really have that Star Wars feel to it. I will say this. I love the acting. I thought every actor did a good job with that. I didn't care for the story. Not saying it was a bad movie. It was a good movie. It did not hold my attention. And I mean, at one point I actually left to go get more popcorn and left to go to the bathroom, which I never do during a movie. So I came back and I was fine. I picked up exactly where everything was. This story was just not captivating to me. I don't think that had anything to do with the reshoots and the craziness for it. I just think they didn't have a solid story to begin with. I did like the relationship between Han and Chewie. Donald Glover was amazing, and now I want to see a Lando movie, but at the same time, I don't. I was talking to some other people after they left the movie too, and they were kind of disappointed with the whole Kessel Run. Seeing that is such a running gag within Star Wars that you don't really know what it is or what it really means. Everyone's kind of has its own thing to it when you watch it. And seeing it was one of those things where it's like seeing a magician doing his trick and figuring out how it was done. You're like, wow, I'm really glad. Like, I know that and some other people don't. I kind of liked it better when I didn't know. So I felt that way. I enjoyed it, but the other part is I don't remember it. It wasn't memorable to me. I had to refresh myself before our conversation today about what happened by reading some reviews. So it missed the mark for me. But again, overall, compared to other movies I've seen this month, good movie. Just, it had its problems. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got your mouth guard in, your helmet on, Brian Thornton.
Wow, I thought I was going to be the odd man out on this. I thought I was going to have to fight the two of you because I felt the same exact way. It was okay. It was a decent movie. Mm-hmm. I left there thinking, I just saw a movie. I was not enamored with it at all. The only thing I truly loved about this movie was Donald Glover as Lando. And I want to see a Lando movie more than anything. I found the movie to be predictable to the point where it was boring. I did not like the guy they got to play Han. I don't even remember his name. Aldrich, whatever his name is. I didn't care for him.
Did a lot of finger pointing. Did a lot of finger pointing when he was
angry. I didn't have a problem with him.
I didn't. He's not Han. He's not Han, and he didn't even try to be Han.
Oh, come on!
No. Hold on. I've heard that before. He didn't try to be Harrison Ford. He was Han Solo.
I thought he was Han. Yeah, he wasn't Harrison Ford.
No, you just got done saying that the movie wasn't true to the character. Hence, this guy was not Han.
No. He played the character. He played what was written well. I think the character was written wrong.
Right. The story.
Fine, maybe that's what I felt. I didn't care for the story, and there was too much about it that I didn't care about.
I thought he played it. You don't think he played it well?
I think I could replace any young 20-something actor in that role and get the same performance.
Okay, continue. We'll talk.
This is my opinion. You asked for my opinion.
I know we are. I'm sorry. Please continue.
My favorite scene in the movie is actually after the Kessel Run, where he goes to the guy and says, I just did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. And the guy's like, I don't give a shit.
Right.
And then Wookiee says, and Chewbacca says, and he's like,
if you round down.
Yeah, not if you round down, which makes me think he did it in like 12.6 parsecs, which is really funny when you think about it. But that's it. That's the only memorable part of that movie. That and the cameo at the end. And that's sad. If that's the only memorable part of that movie, that's sad. And I wasn't expecting a ton. Let me just explain. Really, I wasn't expecting Star Wars.
No, but
I was expecting Ocean's 11 in space, and I did not even get that.
You can expect a sequel. I
don't know. This movie did not do well box office wise. It did okay. It did better than other movies, but like it's not up to the caliber stuff. Here's what I'll say. At the end of this movie, he's supposed to be going to go meet Jabba the Hutt, which is basically kind of where he is when New Hope starts. So he's supposed to be there emotionally.
No.
He's
how many years? What's the gap?
He was going to start. Okay. He was going to start his relationship with the Hutts. That's all.
Sure. Okay. All right then. So I apologize then. The thing that I think they were trying to get him down was to, at the end of it, kind of harden him a little bit, right? Is that a fair assessment? Yeah, at the end of the movie, he's supposed to be a little harder than when he started.
But the story didn't even do a good job of doing that. And
that's the thing I thought right there. The thing that would have pushed him to closing off a little more to anyone except for Chewie would be being betrayed by Emma Clarke's character, whose name I don't remember.
Kira
being portrayed by her would really just go, I'm going to put some shields up a little bit. I'm going to be a little more gruff.
It's not even just that.
And he didn't get, like, there was no betrayal. There was nothing that broke his heart.
There was to a point, but like really? you never see
not
it
following him broke his heart. Like the fact that she took off, that absolutely broke his heart.
But you never see its effect on him, first and foremost, and
you never see Han show any emotion ever.
But you're supposed to at this point, because he's not there yet. He's supposed to be someone who shows emotion, and then this is the sequence of events that makes him kill it.
The first nail in the coffin should have been Beckett betraying him.
Yes.
But because they didn't spend any time building that relationship, when he did betray him, I didn't care. And when he had to shoot him first, I didn't care. You didn't feel that, like, I've just been betrayed by somebody, like, moment. They didn't do any kind of character development on anybody, really. It was there.
There were a lot of characters, and they were all new. So yes, that you're right.
But my other problem is we introduced this 4-armed guy and Tandy Newton, and then we kill them off in the next scene, and I don't care. You didn't give me any time to feel attached to these characters or understand their motivation. You didn't give me a scene where Tandy Newton warms up to Han Solo in any sort of fashion, so that when these things start happening, it's just like, okay, that happened.
The only thing
Moving on.
The only thing that the monkey said, and I don't remember his name, and I apologize. The only thing that the monkey-like character said to Han that would made you feel like, oh, maybe they're friends, was as he was dying, oh, you are a good pilot. And then he died. It was like, oh, was that the bonding? Okay. And unfortunately, it didn't. Again, I went in with different expectations. I didn't come in looking for the whole story of how Han Solo got to be to where he is. I was willing to take him at a different stage in his life. I thought the story didn't hit it. And just like you saw too, the heist itself, I was never like, oh God, what's going to happen? Is Chewie going to make it? Of course Chewie's going to make it.
The entire heist was predictable.
Yep.
The moment Kira shows up again, I'm like, okay, she's going to betray her. Woody Harrelson is going to betray him. And
he told him, like, he foreshadowed it in it was telegraphed to you.
It just wasn't well executed. This movie could have used an extra 20 minutes. This movie needed to be 2.5 hours, but it wasn't. You needed an extra 20 minutes to build those relationships so that when these things happen, it actually affects you. I just want one scene, because when he first meets Beckett and he hands him the gun and he's just like, oh, you need to show me how to do those tricks. That's a perfect setup for you to later in the movie have a bonding scene between these two characters where he's showing him the tricks. And then when he has to shoot him, he does a little flip back into his holster. Yep. And so it like really drives home. They didn't do that.
No, I thought that too. You got to show me how to do those tricks. Like, I can't wait for the scene where he learns how to do those tricks. Crickets. Oh, they're not going to do that. Okay. Like, there's a couple setups in that movie that didn't.
It was a little disappointing.
So let me turn this, because I don't want to be negative about it, because we all said it was a good movie. Just again, not Star Wars. So what did you like from this movie?
Oh, you know, can I say one more thing I hated before we talk about what we liked?
Yes.
I fucking hated the droid in this movie.
Oh, I didn't mind her.
L3.
Yeah, the droid was dumb.
She was annoying.
I liked
she was
her.
Dumb. Every line out of her mouth was not funny, B, not adding to the story in any capacity. She was annoying. I
disagreed. I thought she was a great psychic. I thought she was a great companion to Lando. I enjoyed her a lot.
I disagree.
Well, that's fine. So let's talk about what we did like, because we all three of us said we liked it. It was a good movie. So what did work? What made it a good movie for you?
Donald Glover. That's it.
Donald Glover, the humor, and the relationship with Chewie.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of the Chewie relationship. I think Donald Glover was great.
I also think it's great, just like Justin said, that we did get to see him with the Empire, right? We got to see the guy who always wanted to be a pilot join the Navy saying, I'm going to be a pilot. And they're like, yeah, we're going to make you a pilot. And then like years later, like, you're still not a pilot. Welcome to just being disenfranchised.
Well, he failed out because he couldn't follow orders.
Right. But I like the fact that we see that ambition. We learn about the fact that he wanted to do it. But
it wasn't that they failed to make him a pilot. I mean, he screwed up.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I liked. I like the fact that we showed Han's personality through that. I like the fact that we set that up as he failed.
I like the Darth Maul cameo at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
That was nice.
What do you mean you didn't care?
I was like, oh, cool, it's Darth Maul.
So, no, here's the thing. What you realize as this is happening is essentially this is taking place probably just before Rogue One, essentially. And these...
No.
You don't think so?
No, I know so. This movie takes place approximately 7 years after Revenge of the Sith. Han is 19 when the movie starts, and 22 by the time the main story starts. In New Hope, he is in his 30s, and that's established. He's in like his early 30s or late 20s at the most. So there is a solid, and Rogue One takes place
like
right before
18 years,
24 hours before New Hope.
Yeah, and Rogue One takes place 24 hours.
So you're
before
saying saying the difference is
there's almost a decade between the two.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. No, that's not the way I took it. I took it like they were happening in parallel.
I like the Boba Fett armor that was in the ship that Emma Clarke was bouncing out of.
I was waiting for like an actual Boba, like
me too. I was waiting for a Fett.
Give me a scene which explains why Boba Fett hates Han Solo so much. Just one scene, there was no like even planting of seeds for future Solo movies besides Darth Maul, and there was no other explanation into like some of the things that we know about Han Solo besides the Kessel Run. It was very.
Did you feel that scene? I don't know if we're gonna keep this in the show. Did you feel that seeing the Kessel Run actually played out and actually seeing it ruins the joke of doing the Kessel Run, like all the humor that surrounded the fact that no one really knew what the fuck the Kessel Run was anyway?
A little. He cheated. He Kobayashi Maru'd.
Absolutely.
He Kobayashi Maru'd.
Fine with that.
Which is fine.
I'm okay with that. I was always expecting him to do that anyway.
See, here's the thing. I don't like it for that exact reason that you said, because it's like seeing the magicians behind the scenes of the trick, right? I do like it because now all the references in the original trilogy and The Force Awakens, when they say, I hear you did the Kessel Run in 13 parsecs, are kind of funnier because he actually did it in like 13 parsecs.
All right, okay. All right.
So it's like a bittersweet type of thing.
Sure.
But I have no feeling one way or the other. It was a cool scene. It was fun. Again, just like everything else in this movie, it was adequate. And that's how I feel about it.
Which brings us to an article that Brian had found that I wanted to address as well. It says all 11 Star Wars movies ranked, including Solo. So, Brian, you were reading this and kind of, do you agree with the order? Walk me through this.
Yeah, well, I put this in here because I wanted to see if you guys agreed with it. Because I looked at this list and I said, you know what? Mashable, I actually agree with you for once. This is the exact order I would put the Star Wars movies in.
All right, so hit me. What's the order?
So you want me to start from 11? Or you want me to start from number 1?
11.
11 is the Clone Wars, not episode 2, the animated Clone Wars movie that they used to launch the Clone Wars series. Number 10 is Attack of the Clones. That's episode 2.
Right.
Number 9 is Phantom Menace, episode 1. 8, Revenge of the Sith, episode 3. 7 is where Solo is. 6 is The Force Awakens. 5 is Rogue One. 4, Return of the Jedi. 3, The Last Jedi. 2, Star Wars. 1, The Empire Strikes Back. And I actually agree with the way they have these movies ranked. I would rank them the exact same way.
I would just flip The Force Awakens and Rogue One. I think Rogue One would be 6th and Force Awakens would be 5. Other than that, and that's by a razor-thin margin, I do agree.
No. I would have both. I would have Solo ahead of Rogue One and both of them behind any other Star Wars movie. So what does that put them? 11 and 10 and 11? And I don't consider the animated thing a thing either.
Yeah, so the Clone Wars. I was like, I've never seen it. So
I'm just going to kick that out.
Oh, that movie was not good.
That's only 10 at that point. That's a nice round number.
It's 9 and 10. Really I have Solo at 9, Rogue One at 10, and then I flip Return of the Jedi with The Last Jedi at 3 and 4.
All right.
And then I agree.
Why didn't you like Rogue One?
I fell asleep 4 times.
That's not a good barometer.
I'm not talking about during the movie, I fell asleep 4 times. The first time I saw it in the theater, I fell asleep for almost the whole movie. The second time I fell asleep for about 40 minutes. When I tried to watch it at home, I fell asleep like immediately. And when I tried to watch it on the road, I just did work and didn't pay attention to it.
Here's what I want to say at Star Wars at large to a lot of people right now. Ever since Disney took over, a lot of dumb people, in my opinion, have really been screaming, "Oh my God, Disney's ruined Star Wars!" Okay, no, just stop. When a lot of Star Wars movies came out, people thought that they were bad, and they've gotten better and aged with time. Disney has taken a few risks since they've acquired Star Wars, which is fine. Some of it's worked, some of it's not worked. The bottom line is they've all still been good movies. Like, they're good movies. They just maybe not be hitting everything that you want them to hit. It is not time to say, okay, guys, stop making Star Wars movies, or why did Disney buy this? You guys are ruining the whole franchise.
Right. We're ruining a franchise because it's not on par with the nostalgia you feel about the first sci-fi trilogy that was ever made.
Yeah.
No. All of us saw this when we were children.
Right. And here's the thing. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for saying this, but I'm actually quoting Mark Bernardin, who is a co-host on Fat Man on Batman with Kevin Smith, who is a film critic, or was a film critic and a film writer.
Yes.
And he's said it multiple times, and I agree with him. If you watch those movies now, and you watch them and remove the nostalgia aspect from them, they're not good movies.
No.
They're really not.
Yep.
We love them because of the nostalgia and because of some of the things that they did for, filmmaking and sci-fi and things like that. But on the face of it, they're not great movies.
Right.
And when I go to see a Star Wars movie, I am not particularly looking for a great movie. I'm looking for a movie that makes me feel like a kid again. I am looking for a movie that makes me feel like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Solo did that. They did plenty of that. And The Last Jedi did that. Is the problem with people freaking out is because they have they have their precious little thing, and they want to keep it all close, and they want everything to be the way they want to, and then they start making theories and fan fictions and stuff. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if this kind of stuff happens? And then when that doesn't happen, they get offended. Star Wars is not yours. It is not ours. It's not the fans. It is whoever is writing that movie, whoever is directing that movie wants it to be.
Right.
So we as consumers just need to deal with the story and take out what we like about it. And if you get that feeling of a Star Wars movie 2 to 3 times in a 2-hour movie, it is a good Star Wars movie.
I think what Josh said last week when we were reading that terrible article by that asshole who said that we're getting superhero
Van
fatigue.
Cocksucker.
Yep. Movies are supposed to make you feel something, make you either feel enjoyment. They're supposed to just kind of let it be a distraction from the real world for 2 hours, maybe sometimes 3, depending on the movie. And at the end of it, you're supposed to go, hey, that wasn't reality, and that was a nice escape. That's what this movie was. That's what all Star Wars movies are. That's what movies are in general. So stop taking it so damn seriously. Enjoy the ride, and just let it be. I think at the end of the day, we wouldn't tell people not to go see Solo, right? Even though we have problems with it. If someone said, hey, I'm going to go see Solo this weekend, would either of you say, oh, don't see that? No.
I actually had someone say, hey, should I go see Solo? And I said, hey, do you like Star Wars? And he said, yes. And I said, then I think you owe it to yourself to go see Solo.
Right. So I think that's what people need to come away with. Even with the fact that we had problems with the movies, we enjoyed it. It was a movie. We felt an escape for 2 hours. So let that be it. I don't want this to be a one-way conversation. I want to turn it over to you. I'd love to hear what you think about the movie. You can leave us, like I said, a voicemail like Justin did by calling 484-373-4119. I know some of you are a little shy, too, so you can reach out to us on social media. You can reach out to us on email, or go to thatkindnerd.com and comment on this
so the internet
episode.
can protect your voice and face. It doesn't protect anything. The Muppet Eyes are everywhere. They're watching you.
I want to thank you so much for making us your walk around your neighborhood or your drive to work, and we'll see you all next week.
If you love comics and sci-fi and technology, television, video games, and fantasy, well, take a listen to our show. I'm sure you'll see there's many points where we can agree. Like that Martha as a plot point was just too absurd. And Apple versus Android is a case to be heard. And that Josh Trank's new Fantastic Four was a turd. Well, welcome to the club, cause you are that kind of nerd.
Muppet eyes are watching you. They see your every move. Muppet eyes, they're watching you. Muppet Eyes Are Watching You is the name of the episode, by the way.
Absolutely it is. Also, what is the picture for realistic eyes right now? Telling me you're seeing this, it looks like a like I don't know. I don't know how to explain.
Was that
like
from the Dark Crystal or Dinosaurs?
Maybe, I don't know. It's scary looking.
I don't recall. Maybe it was from Labyrinth. I don't recall. I've actually suppressed that memory completely. Repressed. So what's that? What do I do? What do you do, Brian?
You suppressed.
No, I think it's repressed.
I lock it away in my pain vault.
I thought it was a repressed memory, but you suppress. You don't repress a memory.
Well, now we gotta Google something else. Repression is unconscious. Suppression is conscious.
Right, but that's active. What about
repression is you do it, but you don't realize you're doing it. Suppression is
until
you force
later
yourself to
when
forget.
Someone unlocks that thing and all hell breaks loose.
The more you know.
By the way, repress and suppress, like Brian said, they're listed as synonyms. So,
okay,
for what it's worth, and the more you know.
I have no idea where that segment ends and begins. That'll just be all right.
It's a Tarantino film.
Is my shillelagh okay there? That's not bothering anybody.
Why do you have a shillelagh?
It was my grandfather's shillelagh.
That's cool. That's like a beating stick.
Oh yeah, this was the Irish beating stick. It's actually shellacked to say shillelagh, just in case you didn't know what it was. Handwritten on it, shillelagh, shellacked.
It's a shellac shillelagh.
Shellac shillelagh.
Yeah, say that 10 times fast.
I like Jamie Foxx.
Brian, the wallet.
Brian needs to recuse himself with this paycheck that he gets from Mr. Fox. The fantastic Mr. Fox.
No, he is the foxy Mr. Fox.
He's foxing up all over the place.
He's foxing up everywhere. The man just exudes foxiness.
Comes around. All right.
Now I don't know if the title of the show is Foxing It Up or Muppet Eyes Are Watching.
It's Muppet Eyes. It's 100% Muppet Eyes.
I'll tell you what, if Jamie Foxx had some Muppet Eyes, they would sure as hell blink. Ooh, who's Justin LeBlanc?
He is Matt LeBlanc's cousin.
Am I off base?
Nope. It's all right. I'm cutting the segment. You're good. Perfectly fine.